On Panthers TV, in association with Jeremiah's Chimney System, delighted to be joined by, to many, a familiar face. Not been in the UK coaching for a while, but currently coaching in Denmark with Odense. That's former Coventry Blaze head coach Paul Thompson. Tomo, great to see you. How you doing?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you very much. We've got you on, and some fans might not know, but we're going to talk about a few things in the next few minutes. But I want to talk about a couple of guys that played for you last season for Odense there in Denmark. Start with Otto Nieminen, finished in league play, 46 points in 48 games, 25 plus 21. He was your second highest point scorer, leading goal scorer. What sort of player can Panthers expect?
Yeah, he was the leading goal scorer in the league, and Otto's a model professional, Chris. You've got a great guy there, and he's got great straight ahead speed. I mean, elite speed. I mean, he looks after himself. He's got a body like a middleweight boxer. You know, he's always in the gym. He's always taking care of himself. He eats the right things. He sleeps well. He's a total professional and a smashing lad. You know, a real good teammate. Quiet guy, but. You know, the type that you wouldn't mind marrying your daughter, a good man.
He pointed out what I'd known the first time I interviewed him, and the second time it escaped my mind. He's played in the arena before, played in the CHL, actually was on the losing side when he played the Panthers. What sort of player do you think he'll be for you know what it's like, Tomo, in that Nottingham rink on a big occasion? What sort of player would he thrive on that, do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, he's played in the Liga, and he's played for a top team in the Liga, so he's. You know, and in the last couple of years in Denmark with me, and the year before in Slovakia, you know, he's kind of understands the role of an import and what an import has to do. And of course, when you're playing in your home country, you're one of 22 bins. Where, you know, now he's come to you, he knows what is expected of him, and he's not a flashy player by any means, but he's effective, and he's the kind of player that, you know, at the end of the game you say, well, you know, and he's 1 + 2, 2 + 1, 1 + 2, you know, 0 + 2, 1 + 1. He kind of gets it done, and he's around the net at the right times. He's got a good little snapshot, and again, he's got elite speed. So I think that will set him apart a little bit in the UK.
And another player who played for you, joined the Panthers for this coming season, didn't play quite as long, only part of the season, but still scored at over a point a game, 24 points in 22 games, 10 plus 14. That's Westin Michaud. What sort of player will Westin be, Tomo?
He's got a good hockey IQ, Chris, and you know, I played him in the middle as a centre, and he's good away from the puck. He's good with the puck. He's not got he's not got the speed of Otto, but he's crafty. And he can read a play, and you know what? He goes to the dirty areas, like Otto. Otto goes to the dirty areas also, but he gets involved in the dirty areas. He doesn't mind yapping at players on the opposition teams. He can get under their skins and stuff. So, I think the Panthers have got two good signings in them guys.
It's clear from you know, speaking to the head coach and the way that the squad's been built, it's a squad on speed that he wants. So I mean, certainly Otto here, and in particular, I think will fit in with that ethos.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, I'm not saying the league in Denmark is any better, but I think it's quicker. Well, I don't think it is quicker, and Otto was quick at this level, you know, and Westin could skate at this level. You know, I think there's maybe, you know, there's a little more skill set in the UK now, especially with 15 imports and everyone carrying another 5 each or whatever. I mean, being sarcastic there, but I think you know, they certainly like playing with pace, especially Otto, and again, I think, you know, they're going to be two solid signings for you guys, and speed kills today. You know, that's what the game's about, and the guys who are 6'4" that can skate are probably all in the elite leagues or the NHL. You know, so speed is in any sport kills, and it's no different in the UK or in Denmark. Blah blah blah.
Otto obviously spent, you know, the majority, you know, all his career really in Europe now before coming to the Nottingham Panthers. But Westin's interesting, isn't he? Because he's played in the AHL as well. That's a league where you've really got to grind, isn't it? So I guess Westin showed that he can play in a grinding league, he can play in a skilled league, and that to me sounds like good attributes to have.
Westin will tell you he can play in any league, and but he competes. He competes hard. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but he competes hard. And like I say, he has a good hockey sense. He has a good hockey brain. And I think, you know, I mean, I haven't looked at your team per se, so I can't see where the balance is, or, you know, the line structure or whatever it is. But I'm sure he'll be a guy that he gets his points, he makes his plays.
How much, you know, obviously, I know you still live in the UK. How much do you still keep an eye on the Elite League, if it's something that you keep an eye on as much as you can?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we all look at the scores. I mean, and you know, and I still keep in touch with Danny Stewart, and then, you know, and your mate Sinzi, you know, he'll try and ring me 3 times a day to talk Sheffield. So you know, I get to know it from that perspective. But of course, my focus is over here more now. So I look at the scores. I don't really look at the games, because we're concentrating obviously on what we have to do here.
Yeah, when this goes out, you'll probably get a bit of grief for talking to a Panther, I guess.
Wow. Well, we can say we were GB buddies back in the day. So,
but yeah, we were all GB buddies, obviously. Just, I mean, going back, you know, just before we finish, because I know you're a busy man, but I was explaining to some of the new guys about the rivalries Panthers have had. That, you know, the bench clearance v Sheffield, the bench clearance against Coventry, although maybe not as intense, it was certainly still a big one. That rivalry in the sort of, what was it, early 2000 and, you know, mid 2000s to the sort of, what, 2007, 8 to 14, 15 and onwards, when you and Corey were really going at loggerheads. That was a lot of, must have been a lot of fun to be part of that rivalry.
yeah, I mean, it was a different game in that era. You know, I mean, we all carried some heavyweights and tough guys, and, you know, and thankfully the league's cleaned up that way. I mean, and the hockey's cleaned up that way. I mean, there is fights in the game, but it's not kind of orchestrated, or the intimidation side of it's not as much as it used to be. And I think that's the right thing going forward. And so, but yeah, I mean, I coached Coventry for many, many years, and obviously us and Nottingham had a huge rivalry. And then obviously going to the Steelers, and the Steelers and Nottingham had a huge rivalry. But I would actually say at the time I was in Coventry, you know, and in the Corey eras, that you know, I mean, everyone always talks about the Nottingham Sheffield, but Coventry Nottingham was a big rivalry at that time. And it was fun, you know, packed rinks and great atmospheres. And it's quite a while ago now, Chris, but yeah, they were fun times.
Yeah, just you got to experience that, as you say, that special Nottingham Sheffield rivalry. But as you say, that Coventry one was created as well. So you've kind of seen it on 2 sides there, with your Coventry hat on, and from that period of time you're with the Steelers.
Yeah, I come out with the Team Hollywood quote, and that come back.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
So yeah, and all that was over was a guy's pair of skates, actually, the color of his skates. But anyway,
Nieminen.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But, no, they were good times. I mean, there was lots of banter between the clubs. There was lots of competition between the clubs, and both clubs won a lot of trophies during that period. You know, so you know, it was a healthy rivalry.
Yeah, just before you go, I can't resist this, since we mentioned Johan Molin. Do you remember the time he came out of retirement to play you guys, and Panthers sneaked him on the ice in warm-up? I don't think they even announced him, and he ended up scoring the game winner on the power play. Does that ring any bells?
You had to get that one in, didn't you, Chris?
Do you remember it?
Would you remember the 4 league titles I won? No,
fair play.
5, actually. 5, 1 in Sheffield.
Fair play. So you're pretending you don't remember. A bit like
no, I do remember that, Chris. Yeah, I do remember that, and that's probably an old Moran trick, that one.
It was. He'd come back. He'd come back to visit friends, and I think the friends he visited had his old skates, lent them him, and I think he ended up playing 4 or 5 games. But yeah, we do remember the league titles, mate. They must have been very special times for you, and very fond memories. Listen, I've kept you long enough. It's been good catching up. Appreciate hearing about these Panthers players, and good luck, Tomo, for the rest of the season.
And you guys, good to speak to you, Chris. Take care, mate.